Lorenzo, one of the things that I think a lot about is how can a brand that's selling online do something that's kind of radical to differentiate itself? And one of the things that, and you and I have talked about this before, but when someone comes to a product page, there are certain things we can predict about the visitor, which is that they're going to go through the image gallery first. And so they obviously care about the image gallery. And the reason why they care about the image gallery is because it actually shows the product in different angles and it helps them visualize the product. But one of the things that I feel, and this is just my opinion, is that I think a lot of times brands are really focused on just literally what their product does. So if we sell a car, we'll say this car has 4 wheels, it has pressure tires, it has 4 doors, it has comfort chairs. I don't know if that itself, I'm not saying that that's not a useful way of communicating what the product does. It's very literal, but I think it's also important without overdoing it. But I believe one of the missing ingredients in e-commerce is injecting your point of view. And I think if you want to differentiate yourself and actually make yourself sensitive or insensitive to price shopping, I think it's really important to inject a personality. And I think the point of view, I think one of the narratives that we have for small businesses that, well, I understand how Apple can do it. It's a multi-billion-dollar company. That's not true. Apple was doing this from the day one when they were losing money. I just think it's an attitude. I think it's this idea of, you know, saying, you know what, we sell this product, but the people that made the product are just as important, because I do think that ultimately products are made based on the point of view. So I've felt strongly about this point of view thing quite a bit. So I'm always looking for ideas and inspiration that support this idea. And one of the things I really like is I watched a movie this weekend and I was thinking about movie posters and magazine covers and ads, but I'm going to talk about magazine covers and movie posters today. What I find really interesting about magazine covers and movie posters is sometimes artists are able to not put a lot of words on a screen and communicate a really powerful idea. And I don't know why product pages don't do more of this. Again, this is a theoretical concept. I haven't tested this extensively with my clients either. But since our platform, this riffing series that you and I are doing is just about, two people having crazy ideas and putting it out there. And you guys who are watching can tell us what you guys think about it. I'm going to share 3 things that I pulled together today. And hopefully this makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, send me a comment and I'll kind of explain it more. But it's something that I'm going to continue working on. But Lorenzo, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm actually going to make this full screen. So this is National Geographic's magazine cover. And it shows a plastic bag designed like an iceberg. And I can see this idea being very relevant. I'm not saying you have to, I can see an idea like this. This can be done, by the way. I think AI tools can do this as well. But I can see this being very relevant for a product that is kind of eco-friendly. Maybe there's a plastic bag that, I think this can be adapted in a bunch of ways. But what I really love about this is it's taken the focus completely away from the product, the physical product, and it's taken it to an idea that I think is so much greater than the $15 that you're charging for the product. I just found this to be really compelling. This is another one. It may not be coming across very clearly on the screen, but this is Manoj Shamlanite's movie called The Happening. It's not the best quality image, unfortunately. I was trying to find a higher quality image. But what I really like about it, and I'm not saying that this is what you have to do, but what I thought was very clever is that they don't really explain they don't explain the composition. It is open to interpretation. And they're just showing a bunch of cars and showing there's nobody in the cars, and it's just weird. And of course, this is a negative image that they're showing, but I'm wondering if something like this can also be adapted. I think movie posters can give a lot of inspiration. So I'm not going to tell you how this can be used because I don't really know how this can be used. But to me, the idea of not one of the most effective marketing techniques in the world is when you don't spoon feed the punchline to the reader. Let the reader draw their own conclusion, and it actually hits them at a much more deeper emotional level. And I think it makes it much more likely for them to actually buy a product. And then I want to just share one more. This is Greta Thunberg, and she's this famous advocate for the environment. Again, this is, of course, they're using her image, but you could be the founder of a company and kind of do something ridiculous like this as well. I just think it's so evocatively, in such an evocative way, it's communicating such a powerful idea. So all three examples that I've used, again, I don't think, one thing I want to just caution against is some people might look at this and say, these are such big ideas, and these are, I'm not saying that you need to have the same, I'm just putting it out there as food for thought. I really like the idea of using an image to tell a bigger story and have that story tied to your product. So Lawrence, I don't know what your thoughts are about this, and if this is a pretty crazy idea, I agree, but I wanted to just share it anyway.
The way I think about this, Rishi, is actually quite simple. The cover of a magazine or a cover of a movie is an ad. So it makes sense. The number one goal of an ad is to bring curiosity into the user. So you either go to the movies to watch the movies or watch it on Netflix, or buy the magazine because you want to hear the story of X, Y, and Z, right? So I think this is just another copywriter, that another marketer, that instead of like selling a product page, or instead of selling on Facebook, is selling to go to the next page in the magazine or go to the movies for the movie cover. So that's the way I think about it.
Yeah, no,
There's no difference. There's no difference.
No, I totally agree, and I haven't seen this kind of approach used in product pages, and I think it's, I would test include, well, there are a couple of places where I would test it. One is in your image gallery. You could have one image that is like just telling a story through visuals, and I think another place I would test it is in your product description. You can actually literally embed the image. And what I think it does is it actually draws more attention to the copy. It slows people down. One of the things I'm trying to do as a marketer is I'm actually trying to slow people down and make them think. People are in this system one mode where they are in autopilot. I have to get people to think. When I saw that National Geographic cover, like even if I was like walking by, it just grabbed my attention. It made me think. And I know that a lot of times we use this at the ad level. I'm actually not thinking about this as a way to get people to click on something. I'm using this as a way to get people to slow down so they can pay attention and focus, and then so I can then tell them about what my idea is, right?
You know what these examples remind me of? Two things. The first one is guerrilla marketing ads that I've seen, like on billboards or, in the street and so on. I've seen a lot of those. I think there is a LinkedIn group, I need to double check how it's called. It's like fantastic ads or crazy ads. I can't remember, where basically they share a super creative ad from a lot of different companies every week or something like that. The other thing that this reminds me of are, and this is something that we should talk about in another episode, is infographics that need to communicate something. And instead of just using, words, they just use words plus images and visuals.
Yeah.
And I thought it's a very similar, it's
Yep.
kind of like the cousin, our infographic. So I thought I would share it.
No, exactly right. It's like art. You can interpret it in a variety of ways, and art is so powerful. I want to kind of bring this to more product pages, and I haven't seen it. I think if, especially for some listeners who are like, oh, this could be interesting, and I can use this. You don't have to necessarily have a product that is saving the planet or doing something monumental. Every product has a bigger purpose, and all I want to do is connect your audience with that bigger purpose and to just amplify what the product does. So I hope you guys go ahead.
One last thing I want to say is that, the reason why, for example, the plastic bag one and the versus iceberg one, I thought it was a great example of dramatize something, which is something that, from an attention grabbing standpoint, drama is great at that.
Exactly right. Well, we will see you guys again with yet another episode. We launch an episode every day. So have fun, take care, please share this, and we will see you soon. Take care. Bye.